Hey guys, what's going on? Brandon Janis with The Start Guys. I am super excited to have a good friend of mine, Erin Galloway out of Baltimore, Maryland. She's really smart. Like, she's super smart. So I'm blessed that she was able to sit down with me for a few minutes because I know she's so busy, but I want y'all to hear her story. She's currently an executive assistant for a family-run real estate firm. She's worked in Ohio in higher education in the past. She's an Ohio State Buckeye. So if you're not a Buckeye, I'm sorry, but that's what she is. So I know that's the one thing she loves. But that's not why I wanted to talk to Erin. I didn't want to talk to Erin because of her love for the Buckeyes or anything like that. I wanted to talk to Erin because I've been following her story and I've seen the things that she's done, and from afar. I haven't been involved in any of these things, but I've just been super inspired by what Erin's been able to do. And so she's gonna talk a little bit with us about finding her big and what made her start. And I'm super excited to learn from her and her to inspire you guys. So Erin, welcome to The Start Guys. How are you?
I am excellent. Thank you so much for having me.
Yes, no, this is going to be so much fun. So Erin, you can give us a little background on yourself, but I want to know what your big was, how this all started, how these businesses or business that you've created, how'd that come about? Tell me a little bit about what your big was.
So my big was launching what is now referred to as Pump the Bump. And for me, that started out after I got pregnant. Really, after I got into fitness, I was having a lot of success with that, feeling the healthiest I had in my adult life. And throughout the pregnancy, I had plenty of people that motivated me personally that said, you should stay active, you should keep going. But surprisingly, I had more naysayers that said, you shouldn't do this. This is dangerous. You're making poor choices.
Wow.
And I went to my nurse, and the first thing she said to me when I asked her if I could stay fit, she said, pregnancy is a state of health. And I will never forget her, and I will never forget those words. And that it said to me that if an actual trained professional who's been in the field for a long time tells me to keep going, the rest of the people following stereotypes and messages on social media,
Yes.
They are not going to be who I listen to.
So you're saying Google doesn't know everything.
Right. As a parent, you learn you do not Google symptoms. And so everything just reinforced when this one nurse told me that message.
So let me ask you, Erin, so how far along were you in your pregnancy when the Pump the Bump brand was created, or the idea was created?
I would say it probably really came about in the last couple months.
Okay.
Because I realized as I was looking for sources of information, they weren't out there. And at the time, Instagram was, it was in the social media world, but it wasn't quite as popular as it is now. And so, I started an Instagram account, was looking for support in social media, and there was very little out there. And so that very basic research said to me, there's a gap in the industry. And so, I don't know, maybe I'll just start something and see what happens.
Yes, I love that. So that would lead me to my next question. So that was your big because you saw a void. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Or just with nothing? Got it. So tell me a little bit, just for our viewers, about what is Pump the Bump? Tell me a little bit about what that is.
Yeah. So, just following along with the whole concept that this is, Pump the Bump to me started off as a funny t-shirt apparel business.
Okay.
There was not a lot of apparel for pregnant women, so there was poor messaging plus poor apparel. And I said, I'll start this, cutesy little t-shirt business. And I didn't have much money, but I just bootstrapped together what I had. And then I realized that making t-shirts is really hard. And maternity apparel, just blank shirts, is really expensive and really hard. And I still love my idea, so I'll just start a social media site and post some content and see what happens. And really what took off was building this entire community of women all over the world who said they felt just as isolated and uninformed as I did. And so together we just started connecting. And because women are pregnant for 9 months, you say, well, we must lose sight of each other, right? They follow you for
Sure.
whenever they find you, and then after 9, you lose them. No, like I have a network of women that are, some of them on their now second and third babies, that come
Wow.
back and they all post, and some of them have even met up with each other because they were supporting each other through their pregnancy through Pump the Bump.
Wow, that's amazing. So so it started as an apparel. It started like, okay, I'm going to make cute shirts, right? And a lot of people have done that, but it evolved into so much more. It evolved into a community, a tribe, if you will. Would you agree with that? Awesome. That is so cool. So
Absolutely.
what was there a trigger moment that caused you to, other than it may have been the nurse saying, this is okay, this is good, you need to go do this or whatever, but was there a trigger that made you decide, okay, look, I don't have a ton of money, right? Because you just said that, but I'm going to go do this. I'm going to go pursue this. Was there something that happened, or was it just like, look, I'm tired of thinking about it, I'm going to go do?
I knew the concept was cool. Like I figured out there was a niche. And so I committed to myself that I would save enough money to trademark the name Pump the Bump,
Got it.
even though I had no clue what it would be. And so I got a lawyer friend who introduced me to somebody that agreed to help me trademark. And I had no clue what I was doing. And I just said, look, this is my basic concept. And I feel like I should do something with it because parts of this seem too easy. Like I'm not an industry professional. I'm not a certified trainer, but I think the authenticity of my message actually made some things fall in line and feel genuine that other people would have been skeptical about, like a real professional in the field.
Got it. Got it. Okay, cool. So here's a big one. Obviously you have naysayers, and to probably still do. That doesn't ever happen. But what was the biggest fear, struggle, whatever you want to call it, that you had to overcome, during this process, or maybe even still today, but during the process of starting and building this thing? Tell me what the hardest parts were.
I will say in about October 2016, I realized all that was left that was lingering was a social media Instagram site. That was all that was left. And that was all I was doing. And I was just reposting other people's content. And it wasn't really inspiring me anymore because I'm on to life with a toddler.
Sure.
And, it wasn't making money, right? Like I'm just sort of spinning my wheels. And I went to an event of other women business professionals, and I explained what I did, and all the rest of them were making money. Most of them had businesses. And I said, look, I'm showing up here with a business paper. I have an LLC in the system, and I make no money, and I think I'm going to give it up. And there was a publicist there that said, let me just have one conversation with you. And I said, okay, fine. I mean, I'm about to, let it all go. And I let her take me to coffee. And she said, look, I am in the industry of social media and I help people get their messages out there. And I think you don't realize the gem that you have. And here's, I'm willing to put together a proposal for you. And I said, sure, I probably can't afford you, but sure, go right ahead. And she put together a proposal for me, and it had some some really familiar concepts. Put together a newsletter, redo your website, nothing really complicated. And she gave me the bigger number that I couldn't afford. And I said, look, I can't pay you that, but here's what I'll give you. I will give you this number for this number of deliverables between December 16, January 17, to help me relaunch. If you prove your worth and if I see a shift,
Sure.
Then we can talk more. She started off, and all of a sudden she shifted my thinking into, again, newsletters, and redid my website for me. And all of a sudden it was like a restart. And you'll love this story. So then she said to me, look, you need to change who you're doing your website with. You need to switch to Squarespace. I know it. I can reteach it to you. And again, I wasn't going to invest any money in my
Sure.
website. But one morning I woke up and I said, okay, if I'm going to do this, I got to do it. Like, I'll regret if I don't go all in.
Yeah.
So I spent $250, removed around my website, and I showed up to work that day. And it just so happened that my bonus, which I'd never received a bonus because I work in higher ed, my bonus was $250.
Wow. Yeah.
And I silently wept and said, this is it. I
You
was
knew.
supposed to do that moment.
Wow.
And
Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. So, okay. So, this is important to me because I want people to be able to find you. So where would people find you today as far as social or website? What would that be for people to go see what you're up to?
So Pump the Bump is on Instagram. That's exactly what it's called. It's also on Facebook, and I have a website. So really launched a blog, and we have a journal for moms to be able to share their stories called the PB&J.
Ah, that's cute.
Yeah. And we have a newsletter. So people, if they just remember Pump the Bump, they pretty much can find me anywhere.
Because you trademarked it.
I trademarked it.
Yes, I love it. I love it. Okay. Bonus question. So you've created this incredible business that I know is going to thrive across the world. So what is your big today? What would your big be today?
My big today is now launching concepts that bring fitness and families together through activities. Being a toddler mom, I now want to go to the park and do fitness with my young one, and I wanted to have an educational purpose. So I'm trying to develop a series of games and activities that families can do together, where they can just download them from my website, show up at a park, and go chase each other finding things that are red, and go chase each other finding certain scavenger hunt around a park, or ways that you can identify ABCs by going and playing tag. So I really want to get families active together, again, because my following is now having their kids and they want to stay active.
Sure. So would it be a spin-off of Pump the Bump? Would it be a new brand, a new entity, or would it just be Pump the Bump 2.0?
No, it will stay connected to Pump the Bump, but Mama Move, which has been my only local event that I've been doing, I'm thinking of spinning that into something.
I like it.
Time event.
Yes, I love it. Well, Erin, thank you so much for sharing your start story with us. I know it's going to inspire so many, not just women, but individuals and people and men. Because I have 3 toddlers, or I don't even know, a 5-year-old, a 4-year-old, and a 2-year-old. And so we always are looking for fun things to do as well. But I know you're going to inspire people to go find their big. But more importantly, you're going to encourage people to start, because that's the problem. We don't have a knowing problem. We have a doing problem. Erin, you are an inspiration. Thank you so much for starting and sharing this with us today.
You are so very welcome.
Yay!